Hello my people, welcome back to ERD Stitches online tutorial. So today we are going to carry out a tutorial on how to make an empire gown. Some people call it drap gown. It's a cow kaftan gown, very beautiful. So I'm going to teach you how to achieve it now. So, and I want to say a very big thank you to my subscribers out there. I really appreciate you guys, and those that are stopping by for the first time, please don't leave without touching the subscribe button and also the notification bell so that you can subscribe, and always comment, share my videos to people. So let's go to the working table. So this is the fabrics we are going to use for this tutorial. So I'm going to put it in 4 folds, but first I'll put it in 2 folds first before the 4th fold. So it's equal now in 2 folds. This is the folded part, and that's where my neckline will be. So I'm going to fold it into 4 now, this way. Make sure that it's equal. So it's now on in 4 folds. This is the folded part. So please, there's something I want to tell you. If you are making this bubu, you need fabrics that is about 60 inches of length for you to achieve this. So although this one I'm using now is about 55 inches, it's not up to 50 inches. But if you want the sleeve of this bubu to be long, you have to use about 60 inches of fabric, of the length. Then, now that I put it on fold, I have to get where I want the bubu to, the curve to get to. I'm using 34 inches, that is some inches before my knee length. So I'm going to get that point now, 34 inches, and that is where I will measure my hip line. This is 34 inches here. Then I'll get the length of the bubu. The length I'm using is 32, but I have about 33.5 inches here, so I'm going to use everything for it. So now that I've gotten this, I have to connect it to a straight line, the 34 inches. So I'm marking the 34 inches where I will measure my hip line. So I pushed it forward for you to see. I've marked it. I don't know if this chalk is actually showing, and I'm using blue color. So now we are going to measure our shoulder. So the shoulder measurement I'm working with is 8.5. That is 17 inches divided by 2. It will give me 8.5 inches. So I'm going to input my 8.5 inches here. This is my 8.5 inches. So now I have about 18.5 inches here for the sleeve. This is for the sleeve and the folding in allowance. I have about 18.5 inches here. It's okay. So now I'm going to take my neck width. The neck width I'm taking is 3.5 inches. The neck depth I'm taking is 4 inches. So 3.5 by 4 inches. That's what I'm working with. So for the back neck depth, I'm using 3.5 by 2 inches. I'm using 2 inches for the back and 4 inches for the front. So I'm going to curve my neckline now. I hope you are seeing my markings. I'm cutting the front. This is for the front now. Let me push it forward so that you will see very well. So now I want to curve the back. So I've curved the back. This is the back and this is the front. So now what I'm going to do now is, at this my knee line of 34 inches that I measured, I mark as where my curve will stop. I'm going to measure my hip measurement on it. So the hip I'm working with is hip of 50 inches. When I divide by 4, it will give me 12.5 inches. So I'm going to measure my 12.5 inches here. And I'm adding extra 4 inches to it, making it 16.5 inches. So now I'm going to take my round sleeve, as in my sleeve opening. Before I take my sleeve opening, I have to come down with 2 inches for my shoulder slope. From that 2 inches, I'll take my sleeve opening of 10 inches. You can take 9 inches if the fabric is so stretchy. So from these 10 inches now, I will make a curve to meet this point where I mark my hip measurement, and on the allowance, I make a curve to meet it. So I don't know if you are seeing the curve. I curved it from this my sleeve opening this way, this way, this way, to this my knee line where I measured my hip measurement. So now I have to measure what I have here. So like I said, I have about 16.5 inches here, 16.5 inches. So I'm going to measure the same 16.5 inches at the hem line, 16.5 inches. Then I will now connect it straight from this my hip line here, knee line where I input my hip measurement. I'll just come down straight. I will maintain that my hip measurement down straight. So now we are going to cut out. Okay, now I'm going to connect my shoulder slope to my neck line. So this is it. I've cut it. I've connected it. So now a recap of what we did before we cut. From my shoulder, I got about 34 inches. You can use 33. We will measure where you want it to, the curves to stop. I have here mine 34 inches. So and I use my neck width. The neck width I used is 3.5 inches. For the front I use 4 inches. For the back I use 2 inches. You can take any neckline you want. Then from there, and now at this point I came down by 2 inches, and I measured 10 inches for my sleeve opening. So at this 34 inches point, I measured my hip measurement, quarter of my hip measurement plus 4 inches. So and now from this my sleeve opening, I make a curve like C to meet this point. But if you connect it there, it will be a very like sharp point. So you have to make a curve to blend it here. So now what I did, I have about, when I measured my hip measurement plus the allowance, I have about 16.5 inches. So at the hem line here, I measured the same 16.5 inches, and I connected it with a straight line. Now I'm going to cut this out. The shoulder slope. So I'm cutting the back neckline first. So I'm going to open it up for me to be able to cut the front neckline now. I'm removing one piece for the back so that I can be able to cut the front neckline. So I'm going to cut out the front neckline now. So this is it for the front neckline. So what we are going to do next is we are going to open it this way, put it right side facing each other, join it at the shoulder, put it right side facing each other. Then we'll join at the shoulder, we'll join the two shoulders. Then I will use bias to turn the neckline. Okay, I've joined the two shoulders. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure my sleeve opening again to get my 10 inches of sleeve opening. So from that point, I will now close the side with my ½ inch seam allowance or 1 inch, whatever you want to use to sew. I will close it down. I will also measure the sleeve opening of 10 inches. I will also close this side down. When I'm done closing it down, I will fold my hem. I'll fold it in and also fold my sleeve. So I'm done shaping it. I've also folded my sleeve opening and also the hemline. So I will give it a good press now. But before I give it a good press, I want to explain to you the next thing I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do next is that I'll fold it into two, making sure that my two shoulders are equal this way. What I want to do is just to get the midpoint, the center front of this gown, this Bubu Gown. So now that I've done it, now this is it. So I'm going to take from my shoulder, I'm going to take 16 inches. 16 inches. That's here. So I'm going, at this my 16 inches, I'm going to measure like, I'm taking 5 inches. I'm taking 5 inches. So this is what I'm going to do to the other side also. I've taken 5 inches. So what I'm doing here now is that at this my center front here this way, at the 16 inches point here, I will take 5 inches from the left and also 5 inches from the right. So when I get the 2 points, I will use my hand needle to do a gather on it. I will do a gather, or you can pleat, but I'm going to use my hand needle to sew it to form a gather at these 10 inches I just took here now. So I'm done stitching with my hand needle, so I have to just drag it together and I'll tie it to safeguard the stitch. I will not it to safeguard the stitch. So that's what I'm trying to do now. So now after stitching it with my hand needle, sorry, back side. So I'm not going to cut it out. I'm going to cut it out. I've safeguarded the stitch, so I'm cutting it out. This is what I have. If you want to make yours tight, you can as well make it tight, but I'm okay with this, with what I have here. So now I'm going to use this my applique to cover it. I'll just get the center. I have about 4 here. I'm going to cut out like 3. I'm going to cut out like 1. I'll cut out 1. So I'll make use of 3. So then this is what I have. I'll make use of this like this. So I'm going to just centralize it here and use my needle to tack it That's what I'm going to do next. By the time I'm finished doing it, I will also show you what it looks like. I'm just going to use my hand needle again to tap this. Okay guys, I'm done, and this is what I arrived at. This is what I achieved. See, look at it, so beautiful. So beautiful and very, very beautiful. In fact, I will go and put this on because I actually made it for myself. I'm going to put it on so that we see how it looks on me. So guys, this is it. This is my front pleat cowl kaftan. This is how beautiful it is. You can give it a try. So beautiful. Okay? I don't know how to dance. So this brings us to the end of this tutorial. I'm liking this. In fact, please do me a favor to subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. Oh, I'm liking this. In fact, I'm going to rock it to church on Sunday. So beautiful. And you can give it a try. And before you leave, please don't forget to put on the notification bell so that you will be notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you. See you in the next tutorial. Bye. I'm actually liking this.